Hey guys, it's Coffee. Welcome back to Socrates Jones. So now that we've beaten Kant, who is apparently the best philosopher, it seems like this story has finally come to an end, and that maybe we'll finally get out of here in this chapter. So, alright, let's start chapter 6, the end of the road. Well, that was quite a spirited performance, Socrates. Who would have thought an accountant from New York would turn out to be such a great debater? Thank you, Arbiter. I believe Friedrich Nietzsche has volunteered to discuss his ideas with you next. A prominent, if sometimes paradoxical thinker, he is often quoted by the angsty teens of your era. Give me a moment and I will retrieve him. Of course. You okay, Ari? I don't know how you're still doing this, Dad. I mean, me neither. Look how far we've come. I mean, look at me. I'm getting tired and I'm just helping you out. I know, Ari. I was personally hoping Kant's answer would hold up. At this point, I kind of think that the nature of morality is impossible to find. What did you say? Oh, I said, I kind of think that the nature of morality is impossible to find. Huh. Interesting. What? Wait, no! No, stop! Unfortunately, while interesting, that description of the nature of morality is also incorrect. Wait, what? Wait, did we already lose? I'm very sorry, but the rules state he has only one chance, and I'm afraid that was it. Oh, come on! I wasn't even directly talking to you. That can't count. What the hell? That is completely bogus. My dad wasn't trying to provide an answer just then. He was just thinking to himself. Tell him, Dad. Tell him you didn't intend to make a statement about morality. Dad? Ari, he's right. What? What I said was, in fact, a statement about the nature of morality, and I can't deny that. I'm glad you are taking this reasonably, Socrates. Again, the deepest of apologies. I hope you will be able to make yourself comfortable here. That can't be it. Wait, Arbiter, before you leave, can I ask you one thing? I suppose. Why? Excuse me? Why am I wrong? Come now, your stance is full of holes, Socrates. Of that much there is no doubt. So you've said, but why? If I'm going to be here forever, I'd like to at least understand why I'm wrong. Very well, Socrates. That is only fair. Allow me to spell it out for you. Whoa. We're debating him now? Okay. You have presented your philosophical views. Your premise is foolish, as morality has a tangible impact. The world is clearly bettered when individuals strive to be better. I see little reason to doubt the existence of some form of morality in our world. And there we go, Socrates. As you see, your answer is flawed to the core. I see. Well, if you don't mind, Arbiter, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What? Dad, you really intend to challenge the Arbiter? And we have no choice, right? Yes, I do. Well, listen. I don't know if you forgot this, but he's the Arbiter! So? Ari, you once told me to never let an argument go unexamined, didn't you? I mean, that was this morning, I'm pretty sure, but yeah. Frankly, we both know that I know little about philosophy. For all my bombast, it's only because that piece of evidence that we've lasted as long as we have. But, Dad, we've encountered many arguments that looked solid on the surface, but each and every one of them had a flaw. If we don't look closely at this one, how can we know it's not the same? Examine everything. There's too much on the line for us to forget that now, no matter how scary our opponent looks. Alright, Dad. I trust you. Well, this is unexpected, Socrates. I confess, You have piqued my interest. I suppose, given all you have done, some questions are warranted. Ask away, but do not feel too hurt when you come up short. Okay, so... let's see. Do we have anything... oh, we don't have anything here. That's fine. I'll just look through these real quick, hold on. What are you doing, Dad? I thought you said you would find something wrong with this argument. Did I? I actually have a few problems with this argument. And that's what makes me feel like something is off here. Huh? Okay, I don't see anything really wrong with these statements. Actually, wait. Have we presented our philosophical views? Because we literally just said that we don't know if the nature of morality is real. Or I guess it's impossible to find, so... maybe this statement? I can, like, ask for... What views were those? Come now, Socrates. Do you really need me to outline your own opinions? Oh, is this wrong? I just can't help but feel everything would be clearer if you did. Very well then, if you insist. Oh, that seriously worked. Okay. You claim that morality does not exist. Well, okay. We didn't say that, though. We said that the nature of it is impossible to find. Okay, so it's the same thing, but they just replaced this one statement. Okay. Okay, that morality does not exist. I don't think we said this. Or, actually, wait, we can't do that. I don't think we said this, though. I mean, I don't know, do you have proof of that? Can you back this up? Socrates, be reasonable. Did you not say these words yourself? No. Alright, Arbiter, I admit you have raised a strong objection to the idea that morality does not exist. Thank you. Thank you, Socrates. As governor of this realm, it would be tragic if I had not. Do you see now why such an answer is insufficient? Of course. There's just one problem. That wasn't my answer. Exactly. What? What you are arguing against is 2 steps removed from what I actually said. You have discredited the non-existence of morality, but I claim that the answer to morality might not be findable. Well then, those are essentially the same thing. No, they're not. I think we can agree morality exists in some form, for all the reasons you have described. Even if it were different for each person, as Protagoras would argue, there is no doubt that we can develop some sort of guideline for how we should behave. But that does not mean that what we seek, a perfect definition for morality, exists as well. Morality could very well be more abstract, like faith or happiness. Just because it exists doesn't mean there's an answer everyone will agree on, and that's the entire point, right? Therefore, I can claim a perfect answer does not exist without throwing morality itself out the window. An answer demands morality, but morality does not demand an answer. I can't believe it. We made to survive this after all. So, as you can see, Arbiter, the argument you have built is a very effective counter, but it's a counter to something I did not claim. I see. I apologize for misunderstanding your initial point, Socrates. I guess it's always important to make sure the person you are debating understands you clearly, huh? So, Dad's position makes sense now, right? Does that mean you can accept his answer? I'm afraid not. his position still has a number of critical flaws. Allow me to explain. Oh, that actually worked. Socrates, you claim that a flawless answer cannot be found. However, I do not see how this can be possible when there are infinite potential answers. Already, here, you have seen arguments of many branches and formulations. With possibilities so incomprehensibly vast, surely one must stand as infallible. With this being the case, it is only a matter of time before we can find the answer. As you can see, Socrates, as long as the possibilities are infinite, the answer is findable. Interesting argument. Based around a mathematical concept, I see. Well, you forgot one thing, Arbiter. I'm an accountant. I deal with faulty numbers all the time. Wow, Dad, I just got shivers. So you already know what the problem here is? Well, no, but I couldn't pass up my one chance to make being an accountant sound so cool. Remember when I said that I trusted you, just 5 minutes ago? Don't make me rethink that. Hey. Being stuck here forever would be bad enough without having made total fools of ourselves. Socrates, do you intend to actually ask me questions? I understand if you do not. You have placed yourself in an unfortunate position. It may be easier to just admit to your error. As if. Okay, Arbiter, let's rumble. Okay, I might have to think about this for just a second. Okay, so I think I may have figured something out, but I don't know for sure. He's saying that if there are an infinite number of solutions to this, or answers to this question, then one of them has to be right. But who says, right? Because it would actually make sense if there were so many answers, but none of them were the one right answer. You know? Okay, I think I might challenge this, or I guess I don't have anything I don't have anything to challenge with, so, I guess I'm gonna ask how he knows for sure that there has to be one answer among the infinite answers. Back this up for me. What do you mean? Well, what makes you so sure that one of them is perfect? Socrates, is the answer not in the infinite itself? Arbiter? Yes, Socrates. The argument you are making here is quite simple on the surface. I can see why, with so many possible answers, you might believe one of them has to be true. Might believe? Correct. For while I understand where you're coming from, I'm afraid infinity doesn't work quite the way you think it does. Huh? I don't understand either, Dad. What do you mean? Okay, time for a math lesson. Yay, it's our time to shine. To put it plainly, infinite is not the same as all-encompassing. That may sound similar, but the two are actually entirely different. There are infinite real numbers between 0 and 1, but none of them are 2. Likewise, there may be an infinite potential ways to try to define morality, but that does not guarantee that one of them is perfect. Well, come now, Socrates. Even if I can't prove the answer is out there, probability is surely on my side. Philosophical thought is so diverse, the amount of ground which is covered is truly incredible. With this being the case, surely it seems more likely than not that the answer exists, right? Does it? Over the course of my time here, every philosopher I've encountered has claimed to have the answer to your question. However, close examination revealed that, diverse as they were, all of them had flaws. Come to think of it, that's true. Faced with the parade of great thinkers, all failing to accomplish the same task you've assigned me, my position only seems stronger. There is no evidence that set of possible answers contains perfection. In fact, it seems extremely unlikely. The fact is, the existence of infinite possibilities does not guarantee a certain possibilities among them. Any claim that it does is simply and objectively false. Now, I guess I can understand the mistake. You are the ruler of the realm of ideas, and not the realm of facts, after all. But, as an accountant, I can never stand for such an assumption.
Nonsense.
Socrates, Let us set aside the witticisms and return to the basics for a moment. You have posited here that there may be, in fact, no provable answer to your question of morality. Yes. You claim, in fact, there is no evidence to support there being such an answer. Why are you asking so many questions? Dad just said all these things. Relax, Ari. Yes, Arbiter. And the existence of infinite answers cannot itself be considered proof. I see. Well, Socrates, these are all interesting points, but I believe there is one important detail you have forgotten. The answer has been found before. Okay. Oh, Socrates as in like the real Socrates. You claim that there's no answer to be found, but history stands against you. The great thinker Socrates completed the task and was granted his wish. His answer had to be approved for this to occur. Clearly, there's an answer, and it is impossible to find. So you see, Socrates, the answer to morality is clearly findable. If it were not, the great thinker would not have been able to find it. Dad? He may have me, actually. I had forgotten about the first Socrates' exploits. If he found the answer, I can't really argue with that. Okay, but that's the thing, though. The answer according to who? Then, this really is the end. Now you understand why I cannot accept your answer. You agree that continuing this debate would be foolish, yes? Is this it? Do I have to concede? Even though we came so far. Ari, I'm sorry.
Nonsense!
Worry not, old friend. There is still hope yet. Aw, hey, buddy. Protagoras? It's not just Protagoras. What are you all doing here? Aw, they're all gonna help me? We have to come back you up, old chap. But why? Why? Ingratitude is the essence of vileness. It gains much from our discussion, now it is time to return the favor. You are in trouble, and the imperative dictates that I assist. Helping a dying man. Exactly. There is no happiness to be gained from watching a friend struggle. It can be most useful here, assisting you from the sidelines. Good is happiness. We formed a contract to find the answer, and I must follow it to the end. People work together. Aww. And you, Euthyphro? My child, you are still a blasphemer. Rest assured, the gods will smite you one day. Oh wow, you're still an asshole. Cool. But, until then, I suppose I could lend you a hand. Being men, we are all incredibly flawed. Our only hope lies in helping each other. Mankind is flawed. Aw. Oh, this is so sweet. Thank you. All of you. Alright, Arbiter. I'm not going to give up just yet. This is deteriorating into madness, Socrates. But very well. I shall entertain you a little longer. Oh, okay, so what do we have? Alright, helping a dying man contemplates the act of helping a dying man is among the imperatives, okay? Good is happiness. Mill believes that something can be called good as long as it increases overall happiness. People work together. People often help each other in order to further the overall good. Mankind is flawed. Euthyphro believes that sentient beings are flawed and often make bad judgments. Okay, let's see what we can do with that. That's also the thing too. It's, like, that's also what I have a problem with. Like, I don't. They're saying that his answer was approved, but it's like they're saying his answer was correct, but according to who, right? Like, and how do we know that this person has the right answer? Like, how do we know that they have the authority to say which answers are right or not? Like, who is this person that approved this answer? I mean, if it's the Arbiter, then... I don't know if this game is very fair then, right? I want to question this, then. Okay, well, I think that what he said was clear, and he obviously has proof of this if he was here, but why should it matter if it was approved? If it was approved by like, what? By who? Him? I mean, we don't even know who this answer was approved by, so maybe I'll question it? How is this related to your conclusion? Socrates, the approval is, in fact, the evidence supporting the great thinker actually found the answer. After all, it's difficult to believe these things are true, no? Without the judgment of the previous arbiter verifying that this answer was correct, I suppose many would have trouble believing it. Interesting. Yeah, so this was by a previous arbiter then. So then who is this guy? Indeed. We should take note of this, my friend. Okay, new statement. The Arbiter's approval makes the validity of his answer undoubtable. But how do we know that, though? Who was the Arbiter? Wait, why do we trust his opinion? We don't even know who he is. Okay, is there anything in here that we can... Oh, we can... Die man... Oh, okay. You know, I never even considered this, but like... Because I thought that, like, maybe the Arbiter was, like, some sort of non-human, like, being or something? But yeah, like, if the Arbiter themselves is a human, then that would make them part of mankind, right? So how do we know that we should be trusting the previous Arbiter's opinion if mankind is flawed? I think this is right.
Nonsense!
Arbiter? What now, Socrates? You claim that we can be sure that Socrates found the answer. Correct. And we know that this for sure because your predecessor verified its validity. Indeed. That's what I thought. Well, in order to demonstrate what is wrong with your argument, I'm going to cite one of my colleagues here. Euthyphro. Yes, my child. Do you remember your statements on the wisdom of man? Of course. Human beings are fallible and vain. They make mistakes. Gods, however, are... Okay, yes, that's quite enough preaching, thank you. Now, Arbiter, let me make this clear for you. Euthyphro may have been wrong about where morality comes from, but he was right about this. Human beings are far from perfect. We can never forget this. And as flawed beings, the answers we formulate will be similarly flawed. As a result, I found it hard to believe that Socrates really did find the answer. What? Exactly, it was only the answer according to someone else, right? The fact is, as imperfect beings, we must always remember that we are flawed. The moment we go far enough as to claim that our answer is perfect, we close our minds. Ja, it is true. I know from experience. I too have fallen into this trap. Indeed. Even the best of us can succumb. For this reason, we must never assume we have the answer. But Socrates, the first arbiter, are both human, or human-like entities at the very least. See, I didn't get that. I didn't even realize that they were part of mankind until like just now. Regardless, how do we know that their answer is not an error? You have admitted to your fair share of mistakes today. There is no reason the previous arbiter couldn't have made some as well. You can't base the credibility of your entire argument on the appeal to authority. Very well put, Socrates. Indeed. Even I am convinced you could have been wrong all those years ago. Right. Arbiter, If a false conclusion was presented convincingly enough, even your predecessor could have made such a mistake. Thus, leading to the discovery of an answer that was actually impossible to find. It is possible that a perfect answer is still outside of our reach. So, as you can see, you haven't proven anything.
Nonsense.
Alright, Socrates. You have a point. I confess that, even with the backing of the original arbiter, I cannot prove that an answer exists. Yes, I knew it, However, before you go and celebrate, I wish to point out that you cannot reasonably prove that it does not. With us at such an impasse, it all boils down to the matter of potential consequences. Let us assume, for just a moment, that what you have postulated here is true. Let us say, for a moment, that morality cannot be found. I cannot believe you truly understand the consequences of what you are suggesting. Let me show you why you cannot claim that what you claim cannot be possibly right. Okay. Socrates, you just argued that we can never be sure of our answers. If that is the case, there's no point to what we do here. We might as well all give up and become accountants. There's no way we can accept a theory with such horrible consequences. And that is my position on the matter. How could you say such a thing, Arbiter? You have just devalued everything we do here. There's no happiness to be gained from that. I am merely showing the worrisome implications of Socrates Jones's argument. If you take this issue with them, you should take it up with him. Wait I knew it! I knew you were up to go no good, my child! Trying to lower us all to your level, make us into accountants! Oh, shut up, Euthyphro. Thank you. The Arbiter is clearly straw-manning Dad, distorting his argument in order to make it sound weaker. Dad doesn't actually want everyone to become accountants. Right? Of course not. Oh, okay. Thank the gods. Arbiter, you must be getting desperate to resort to such tricks. Even if what you said here were true, the fact that a conclusion is uncomfortable does not mean it should be ignored.
Nonsense.
It does, however, mean that we should be wary of accepting it. I must confess, old chap, I would find it hard to believe anything that created such an outcome. As would I. It would be foolish to jump into water so brimming with sharks. Well then, I suppose I would just have to show that there are no sharks, won't I? That the consequences of my argument are not nearly so disastrous. Very well, Socrates. But first, let me issue an ultimatum. Oh no. This is your last chance. Oh god, what is this music? My last... what? You gave me your answer, the game's already over. It is only through my mercy that it continues. And your damaging claims now begin to wear my mercy thin. If you cannot show why this conclusion isn't disastrous, I will refuse to accept it, as you once refused Hobbes. I find it impossible to believe that the answer would be one that made the search itself meaningless. So again, this is your last chance. Alright, Arbiter. One last chance is all I need. I will show you once and for all why my viewpoint can stand. Oh god, wait, so we still have all of this, right? Helping a dying man, good is happiness, people work together, and mankind is flawed. Wait, so... if we're never sure of our answers... Oh gods, give me the strength to assist this ingrate! Home is so close, I can feel it. I'm going to have to use everything I know to get past this. Just a little more. I can't let Ari down, not now. Okay, so there's not a whole lot to work with, just like 4 or 5 statements? Maybe? We can never be sure of our answers. Okay, yeah, this is the statement that everyone had a problem with, right? Because Because that's not true. Like, this does have some meaning, whether it is, like, whether it brings people happiness, like Mill said, or whatever. So I guess I want to ask, like, for backing on this, like, what makes him so sure that... What makes him so sure that it is meaningless? Can you back that up? Yes, please do. The logic that supports this idea is fairly intuitive, but I shall spell it out. If your conclusion stands, then our efforts to find morality have always been reaching for an impossible goal. Reaching for something that is forever out of our grasp. Oh, okay. And if that goal is impossible, all our efforts towards it are clearly a waste. If your roads don't lead anywhere, what is the point of building them? With these 2 points laid bare, there can be little doubt that our efforts are useless. With that said, though, I don't think we should forget these points. I'd like to look at them a little more closely. Okay, let's look at them. Okay, so we are striving in vain towards something that cannot be accomplished. And if we cannot achieve our goal, there's no reason to try. Okay, so those are the 2 statements that were added. Let's... I think I want to ask about this, maybe? Because there's got to be some reason, right? I mean, what is the reason that people start thinking about this stuff in the first place? I don't understand. Can you elaborate? Socrates, the duty of every moral philosopher is to create a perfect definition of morality. This is what we all work so hard for. If we cannot find a perfect answer, our efforts are in vain. I believe that all this has been made clear before. But not as clear as it was made now. Okay, okay, yeah. So our statement was, our efforts are worth nothing unless we are able to obtain perfection. But... Okay, but we know that's wrong. Like, that's gotta be wrong. Okay, well, what didn't Mill just say earlier that... about, Mill just said something earlier about, like, how doing this makes him happy, which is why it's good? So I think that was, like, our hint, that maybe, like, because philosophy had, like, that philosophy, like, has a point, because thinking about it makes people happy. I guess. Right?
Nonsense!
Arbiter. I think I finally figured out what's wrong with your entire position. Have you now? Remember, you will not get another chance. I know, and I don't need one. This, Arbiter, is the end. Very well, Socrates. Tell me then, what is wrong with my position? It's quite simple, really. A classic fallacy. You are assuming here that a solution must be perfect to have value, but that is not the case. In fact, such an assumption strikes me as fundamentally wrong. Right. Because as long as it makes people happy, then it shouldn't matter. I just realized that over half of us have facial hair. Oh, will you shut up about that? Just a minute. I am not sure how to cope with my distress. Right. Anyway, perfection is, as a general rule, the attractive prospect in every field, but things do not have to be perfect to add value to the world. Let us look at art. Even works as great as the Statue of David or the Mona Lisa are not without their flaws. But despite their flaws, can there be any doubt that the world is a brighter place because these works exist? Oh, then it says Mill would say, they are still good because they increase happiness. Okay, so I was definitely on the right track. Exactly. Whether or not Mill's ideas dominate, increasing overall happiness is certainly one way to imperfect that when imperfect work can contribute. But under your logic, none of these works would have meaning. That's the real disastrous conclusion here. There is no happiness to be gained from that. Look at the people around you, Arbiter. All these philosophers came forward with their own visions of morality. Ultimately, their views all turned out to be flawed, but does that make their ideas worthless? Of course not. Their theories have had profound positive impact on the world. If anyone in my high school philosophy class could tell you as much. Flaws and all, their attempted moral systems stand stronger than those created without thought, and the importance of this is palpable. Just because perfection might be unattainable does not mean we should not try. It only means we cannot expect to succeed. This is quite impressive, old friend. Indeed. You may truly have it, Herr Jones. True. It is our duty to keep questioning, always and forever. For a while, we can never assume our ideas are perfect. If we don't keep searching, we will miss the chance to find something better. The fact that we can never be sure does not mean we should not hypothesize. The goal may be unattainable, but all the progress made towards it is still a fundamental good. In a way, searching for morality is in fact the most moral thing you can do. What do you have to say to that, Arbiter? I say... Arbiter? Oh, wonderful, you broke the sovereign. Now we'll have to get the new one. No, I'm fine. It's just... funny. Funny? Yes, funny. I realize now I have become arrogant in my time ruling this plane. I simply assumed a perfect answer was out there, waiting to be found, despite the fact that the one I found myself so many years ago was wrong. And to think it would be you who would put the pieces together. It's humorous, really. What are you talking about? He is not wise because of what he knows, but because he knows what he does not know. People used to say this about me, all the time. Now I believe it better applies to you. Wait, hold on. You? Yes, that's right, Protagoras. I am, or was, the great thinker Socrates. No way. What? Caught it. Oh, you did not. You what? Yeah, I figured it out like an hour ago. Oh, come on. An unverifiable claim, but there's no denying this one is sharp enough. Regardless, finding the answers was my greatest accomplishment. I convinced the old Arbiter I had found the solution. I even briefly convinced myself. As a result, I won the challenge. The Arbiter gave me his mantle, and told me I was to take his place as ruler of this realm. So that's where he went. Okay, that makes sense. I took it, and became what you see now. But you said Socrates left. You didn't immediately recognize me as not you. My friend, why would you go so far as to hide your identity? I gave up who I was to oversee this realm. As Socrates, I may have been respected, but I also made my fair share of enemies. I felt that, having found the answer, it was only appropriate to distance myself from all of that, to better guide others towards the truth. Of course, once I figured out that my solution was in fact wrong, I became determined to goad someone else into finding it. Never once thinking that perhaps it could be unreachable. In a way, the old Socrates did leave that day, but now, I think you've brought him back. Well then, Socrates Jones, I think it's time I finally granted you your wish. You mean... Yes, it's time for you to head on home. The both of you. I can't believe it. We did it! We actually did it! But... wait, hold on. Does this mean you accept my answer as true? Am I a pro-philosopher? Roll credits. Certainly not. By your very own logic, you know I cannot do that. I do, however, accept your answer as the best I will receive right now, and I cannot ask for better than that.
So, this is for real this time? No tricks? He can just walk through?
Of course, Ariadne. What do you take me for?
Just making sure. Dad, do you know what I'm going to do first when I get home?
What?
Sleep.
Sounds like a plan.
Well then, Hobbes, Mill, Protagoras, Kant, Euthyphro, Socrates, Prime. I guess this is it.
Goodbye, Air Jones. You'll be missed. Indeed. It was a pleasure making your acquaintance. I will miss you, Socrates. You are almost as intelligent as the original.
Oh,
that's sweet.
Thank you, all of you, for everything you've done. An extra big thank you to you, Mel. Seriously, you are just as awesome as I thought you would be. I'm going to miss you.
Oh, I never even noticed that she has the hearts in her eyes. Now, Ariadne Jones, you're going to make this old man blush. Please stop. Let's not single anyone out, Ari. Everyone here has been great. Except for maybe Euthyphro, damn right. What? Now, wait a minute.
Come on, Dad, let's go.
I've had enough of this weird floating architecture for a good long time. Alright, Ari, lead the way. Farewell, Great Thinker Jones. See you again in a few dozen years. Alright, and that's the end. That was Socrates Jones, Pro Philosopher. Wow. This actually turned out to be way cooler than I thought it would be, honestly. I mean, like, I knew that it was going to be a Phoenix Wright parody, so I kind of, like, knew what the mechanics were going to be already, and how that was going to look. But other than that, like, yeah, I didn't really know a whole lot about this. I thought it would be really lame, but it actually was, like, fun and challenging. And, like, I like the whole, like, the nods to Phoenix Wright, like, in the music, and in, like, the really quirky, like, animations for when we finally defeat a character, I guess. Just like how Phoenix Wright has, like, really crazy animations for, like, witnesses on the stand, you know? Little things like that, I thought, were really, really cute. But also just Socrates Jones as its own thing was pretty interesting. And, like, yeah, for a free Flash game, it's made pretty well, so I was impressed. And I actually learned something. So to anyone that actually decides to watch this series and makes it this far with me, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.